Hey everybody, this is the Slightest Review. I'm here today to talk to you about why I fear something on one of my favorite new shows. And that show is Amazon Prime's The Wilds. Season 2 I am extremely worried for. And I've discussed that before in my last review for part 2 of The Wilds, which nobody watched, to tell you the truth. So that's kind of disappointing. But yeah, I stated why I'm disappointed in season 2 and why I'm like very worried. To tell you the truth, there's a lot of people worried for season 2, but their worries are completely different from mine. I mean, mine is slightly similar to theirs, but not to the extreme. See, season 2 is gonna introduce a group of boys that was on the same island as the girls, and they're gonna go through all the same crap that the girls did. Let's recap some. The Wilds is about a group of girls that get stranded on an island and they have to fend for themselves. Create a little community, if you will, because nobody comes to rescue them. The reason why is because nobody knows they're there except for the people that put them there. It's an organization run by a woman named Gretchen. She is the villain of the show. And she wanted to show a group of girls or women in general can survive better than men. She wanted to show that women are superior to men. Because she feels if there's a group of men on an island by themselves, then they'll be just a bunch of Neanderthals, like beating each other, trying to kill each other, like trying to show their dominance, stuff like that. And she wanted to show that women, like I said before, are better than men. The girls have no idea that this is going on. They thought they was there because the plane fell down or crashed, you know. Now, while on the island, there were two moles. One of the moles died in the very first episode from injury she sustained before the crash. And the other one, well, we don't know the details of where she is in the present day because this show has a lot of flashbacks. Two, to be exact. Flashbacks before they was on the island and flashbacks of them being on the island. And so in the present day, the girls are in this facility where they're being questioned and this and that. Only two girls are suspicious because one figured out who the mole was and the other girl suspects that the other girl was right. The other girls that are there, they seem pretty okay being there because of all the bad stuff that happened to them in the past. Now, like I said before, there are two girls that are technically missing in the present day. We have no idea where they are. So that's the show for you. Now, a lot of people on Twitter, they're pissed off, mainly females, because, you know, mainly females like watch this show. I'm a guy. But females are pissed because they say that, you know, this is one of the few female-driven shows that's out there, and now they want to throw in a bunch of men to, like, save the day. So they're pissed off about that. And I get why they are pissed off about that. I mean, you know, because, you know, in today's modern world, we're trying to strive for, like, diversity and stuff. And there aren't that much, like, female-driven stuff. And there aren't that much, like, stuff where a lot of people of color get to shine, you know? My two main problems with season 2 does stem the fact that there is a male cast, but not exactly for the same reasons as the people on Twitter. See, my problem with them introducing a male cast is because when it comes to the female cast, one, we all know and love them. Also, we don't know everything that happened to them on the island. We know they were stranded on the island for at least a month that was shown on screen, but we don't know exactly how long it took for Gretchen and her people to rescue them and put them in the other facility where they're interrogated. So we really don't know how many months have truly passed, but we just know at least a whole month has passed since they was there. And they skip around. They don't do it day by day. So it's kind of like what happened in certain days that we didn't get to see. Also, like I said before, two of the girls are missing in the present day. We have no idea what happened to them. It is never ever explained. We just know something bad happened. Now, one of the girls ends up losing her hand because she got bit by a shark in the last episode. We don't know, like, the severity, like, you know, did the shark take her whole hand? Did the shark, did they have to amputate with the axe they had there? You know? Also, one of the girls kind of escapes the facility and she discovered that there's a group of boys on another island. So it's kind of like, you know, what's going to go on there? how are they going to escape this place? Is she going to be able to contact the other girl? Because they won't allow the girl to have contact. They only allow two of them to have contact. And one of them slipped her a note saying, you were right. So that's the first part of my problem. I just feel like there's more story to tell when it comes to a group of girls. There's no point in introducing a group of guys until their story is fully done. However, season 2 is gonna show both the females and the males, and supposedly they're supposed to escape that place. So it's kind of like I don't want to see that because I just want to finish their story, However, my main problem with season 2 introducing the guys is that in season 1, this show depicts all men as either monsters or weak and incompetent, and that just doesn't sit too well with me. Now, I'm not part of the whole fandom menace or nothing like that, but it's I don't understand why they're showing every guy to be a monster and not redeemable, or a weak guy that's not redeemable at all. And it's there are females on the show and they have flaws, but some of them overcome their flaws, and the other ones, they just end up just becoming nicer people because they're stuck on that island, and so it's even though, but they're never shown to be monsters, or or some of them are shown to be weak, but they are shown also to be strong when it's time to come to be strong. The weak men in this show are never shown that. Now, there is one main actual bad female, and that's Gretchen. She is the main villain of the show, like I said before. However, it's even shown that even she has compassion and sympathy because she bonded with one of the moles before all this happened. And when she found out the girl died, she really just lost it. So it shows that she does have some heart to her. And it shows that, even though what she's doing is wrong, keeping on people their prisoner, she is making a valid point of what she wants to prove, that, now I feel that women should be men's equal, not their superiors. And that's what this show is trying to show. It's weird. It's the creator of this show wants to show that all men are terrible and women are the only ones that should be around. And it reminds me of feminism, but not old school feminism. It reminds me of modern day new feminism. See, old school was women burning their bras, showing that while the men are at war, they can do the tough stuff at home, all the mechanic stuff and all this other stuff. They showed that they are equal to men and they can do anything just like a man can do. That was old school feminism. It wanted to show that they don't want to be stuck in the kitchen. They don't want to be stuck just wearing dresses. They want to get their hands dirty too. If a man can do it, why can't they? And they proved that they actually can. New age feminism is all about just hating on men because men had done some much bad stuff in the past, and I get that, men have done terrible stuff for centuries, and men are still doing bad things. But just like not every white person is evil or racist, not every man or man is some type of monstrous type person like they were centuries ago. We have evolved just like everybody, just like women have evolved. We shouldn't have to all be put down for their past mistakes, and it's trying to show that you are superior to us is the same exact thing as what men did in the past to women. And two wrongs don't make a right, but for some reason they think it does. And so it was times when watching this show, I felt like I was watching a CW show at times, but it's not. It's an Amazon Prime show. And I'm going to give you a couple of examples of what I mean. Leah, she's a teenage girl who ends up dating a grown man. This man is the author. He assumes, because she lies to him, he assumes that she is 17, about to turn 18 in about a month. But it is turned out that she is actually 16 and she got a long way before she turns to 17 and especially 18. So he breaks off things with her as soon as possible, as soon as he finds that out. But they have already done stuff. He's done with her, but she's still madly in love with him and she can't get over him. Now, I know what some of y'all are saying. Well, if he broke up with her after finding out she's a teenager and stuff, then that should be okay. But here's the thing. He knew she was in high school. He assumed she was 17. That is still a no-no. This is not Europe, okay? We don't date and marry people like that are under us, you know, like under 18 is a no-no. So no matter what, he was still in the wrong for doing what he did and stuff because she was a high school student and he was a grown man. But for her, even though she was wrong for lying and she was wrong for doing that because young people are wrong, you know, for dating older people. However, one can argue to say, you know, she's just a stupid kid. She's a hopeless romantic because she is the hopeless romantic type. And, you know, she was just thinking with her heart and not her brain. So, like, you know, you can kind of like excuse her, but you cannot excuse him. Now, as for her best friend, he's like the ducky of the show. He's not a monster. He's one of the weak ones. He's one of the guys that, like, you know, nice guys end up last, or whatever that phrase is. It's like he's madly in love with her and he comes close to like dating her and stuff, but then she's still upset about her older guy because he broke up with her. Turns out her best friend is the one who spilled the beans to him that she's an underage girl and stuff. And when she finds that out, she's pissed at her best friend and stuff. So they're no longer friends. So even though her best friend is not a monster, he's still considered like weak because he could not get what he wanted in the end and stuff. He's one of those nice guys that finished last. And so, you know, plus some might argue that since he ratted her out, that was like totally wrong and stuff. Dot. Dot is a rebel with a actual cause. She's a drug dealer. She's mean. She's grumpy. She's rude. She doesn't like rich people. She doesn't like skinny people. She doesn't like pretty people because she's like a big girl who gets kind of like dumped on a little bit. Just a little bit, you know? And so it's like she kind of rebels against that. Now, it turns out the reason why she sells drugs is because she needs the money because her dad cannot work. Her dad is terminally ill and he's about to die. And so she takes care of him. She goes to school. She has no like public life, you know. She doesn't go out to parties. She doesn't go like this and that. She just goes to school and then she goes take care of him and she stays there. Now they do have a caretaker and stuff. And so, like, she is in love with her caretaker, he's in love with her. But when they start to kiss, even though she kisses him first, but then she later rejects him. It's all like, you know, she can't because she has to take care of her dad. She can't, you know, and the caretaker, he is kind of like one of those people where he doesn't have to be there overtime, but he does it, one, to be nice, and two, just because he likes her. And so it's like, since her dad can't take care of himself, like he just wants her to be happy. He tells her to go on this retreat and this and that, and then he asks her to euthanize him because he's tired of being a burden to her and he's just tired of feeling the pain. So she does that and everything. So she kills her own father because that's his like request. He, you know, he doesn't want to see her suffer no more. And so it's kind of like, okay, he's not a monster, but he's weak and he can't take care of himself. And then he asks his daughter to end his life because he's a burden to her. You know what I'm saying? And so it's like, that's another thing. It's like he's a nice guy, but he's portrayed to be the weak one. And then as for the caretaker, he's a nice guy. He's not a monster, but once again, he's shown to be like so nice that he can't get the girl, you know, because of her taking care of the dad. And then when they're done taking care of the dad, she's on the island, so that's that, you know. And so with her, while she is on the island, she is the one who knows a lot about camping and stuff, so she helps the girls out a lot and she helps them come together. She's like the ipso facto leader of the group, you know, and she's the one who's always teaching them how to survive and, you know, to prepare for the worst and stuff. Rachel. Rachel is a mean girl. She's just rude for the sake of being rude. So that's her flaw and everything. However, she's a competitive diver and swimmer. And the thing about her is like, she hates her sister because the thing with her is that she works really hard to do what she does in the competitive diving, and her parents don't pay attention. They pay attention to her sister Nora because Nora is the smart one. And so what makes it even worse for her is that when she's like number one on her team, she's the best of the best, but her coach tells her that, you know, you're a little big because you're a little muscular and you have curves and stuff. So because of that, she becomes bulimic and she starts like putting her finger down her throat and throwing up after every meal. It got to the point where she told her sister found out, so she told her sister don't tell. But then she has an accident while trying to dive. And so then, of course, sister has to tell then. So she's furious about that. And so it's like, one could argue that, even though she has a flaw, it's just that she tries as hard as she can, but it just doesn't matter. You know what I'm saying? Because nobody pays attention, and when people do pay attention, they criticize her about it. On the island, she's still rude and grumpy and all this other stuff, but we shown that she um will do whatever it takes to get off that island. Like she literally took two of the other girls out into the ocean to find the black box of the wreckage plane, and they dived over and over and over and over again to the point where the other girl was literally about to pass out from lack of oxygen, and she didn't care. She literally grabbed the girl's foot, dragged her back down to the ocean until they got that black box and stuff. So it can be argued, yeah, because of that, she's like a bad person because she's mean, this and that, but she's driven and she's determined and she's not weak because she's willing to literally suffocate and suffocate others just to get off the island and stuff. And then it's later shown that she has a fear, something happens to her, and when she ends up having a fear of like water. And but when one of the girls falls and or tries to drown herself because she goes crazy, she has to be the one to jump off the cliff and go get the girl. So even though she's grumpy, mean, and bad, she still has a heart of gold and will do what it takes to survive and for the others to survive and save others. Her dad is actually the only nice guy in this entire show. And the bad thing about that is like he's only shown for like less than a minute, and he's only shown in one episode. So it's like, okay, let's have all the bad weak people that are men, but then the good guy, he only shows up for like a minute, and that, like that's it. Like that's just not cool. Nora is the other mole on the show, and she actually helped get the girl help set the girls up and stuff like that. She is extremely smart, and she's actually really, really, really nice. See, when she was in college, she had a boyfriend, and he was like the nicest, sweetest guy you can never imagine. He did everything he could just to make that girl happy. And they were both little nerds, it's like the cutest little thing ever. But the thing is, he is kind of like super duper duper nerdy and stuff, but she didn't care because she likes that because that's what she is. However, she relies on her sister's opinion for everything. And when she asks her sister what she thinks of him, she's all like, oh, he's a little nerdy, this and that. And he kind of doesn't let you finish your sentences. So because her sister doesn't like the guy, she decides, well, what, I'm just gonna break up with the guy and everything, and breaks his like heart, and he kind of like tells off, like you need to move away from your sister and this and that. Anyway, so then it turns out he dies because he tried to join a fraternity and they hazed him, so he dies. So it's kind of like, God, the only nice guy, or the second nice guy, or the third, is still shown to be weak, because he was the nice guy who finished last and couldn't get the girl and lost the girl. And then not only that, but he has to lose his life on top of that. Now, the guys that end up doing it, one of them is the son of Gretchen. Now, he's in jail, but he's never shown, so it's like whatever, because he's bad just for doing that. So yeah, you know what I'm saying. But then Nora, Gretchen like brainwashes Nora, and then that's how she becomes like a mole and stuff. And while on the island, even though she is the mole, she is still keeping the girls alive. When things get a little too serious and stuff, she's relaying back to the other facility on the cameras, like this and that and stuff. So technically she is like one of the main like kind of villains, but she's so nice and sweet and she's helpful that you can overlook that. Fatten. Fatten, to put it bluntly, is a hoe and a slut. I hate saying that, but it's the honest God truth. It's like literally what she is in the show, in the flashbacks and stuff. She's a rich, spoiled brat who just sleeps around with every guy she sees and stuff. And so it's like she doesn't have to worry about anything because she's rich and she's a smart student and she plays the cello. So, but it's just like she's bratty, That is her flaw. That and her sleeping around. Well, turns out that she finds pictures of her dad on his cell phone, and they're naked pictures, and they're pictures of other women naked and stuff. And so she's upset. So she decides to expose him by sending it to every person he works with. Now, her dad cheated on her mother. And the thing is, her mom is shown to be like a very nice person, but a little stern and strict. You know what I'm saying? Now, one would say that, okay, here's the thing though. Fadden is actually best friends with her dad. She loves her dad. She loves her dad more than she loves her mom. But she still loves her mom. And she even tells her dad, mom was your queen and everything. So it's kind of like she wasn't getting revenge on her dad because she hates him. She got revenge for her mom because she loves her mom also. And so he decides that, one, he's a bad guy for cheating. And two, he decides, you know what? Since you're so out of control, this and that, and you're so mouthy. Well, actually, she's not really all that out of control. He doesn't know what she does and stuff. She keeps that secret. So it's like because she's mouthy and because she exposed him, and now all their colleagues know what he did, he decides, you know what? I'm just going to get rid of you. I'm going to send you to a boarding school. And it's like, okay, he's the cheater, but yet she is the one getting punished because she exposed him. Like he's the one should be like, punished and stuff. But then he decides, I'm just gonna get rid of my daughter and like screw it. You know what I'm saying? So he's a monster just for that. And the mom is one of those brainwashed moms who just does whatever the husband says, so she just goes along with it. Now on the island, she has many flaws. She's lazy and doesn't want to help out. But then later on, it turns out that she finds this giant hot spring like river type thing, and so that's nice. But she still has like flaws. But then it's shown that even though she doesn't help out because she's lazy and she's grumpy and she punches one girl in the face, she will let the other girls use all of her supplies because when they washed up on the ocean, mainly the only supplies they found was hers and her suitcase. So she lets the girls wear her clothes. She gives them a Rolex. She lets them use this and that. She won't let them use the toothbrush though, which one girl does, and that's what causes her to get punched. But even though she's she's not that much of a bad person, she's redeemable in the sense that she will help out, but only in the way that she can because she's not very strong and physical. Tony. Tony is that bad girl of the group. So Tony is one of those type of people who's in the foster care. Her mom is always in and out of rehab. No, I think her dad left, and her mom is always in and out of rehab and jail, and the dad just straight up left. So she's in the foster care, and her foster kids get on the nerves, and she's living in this really poor house, and so she finds this girl that she dates because she's a lesbian, and then she falls in love with this girl, but then the girl kind of can't stand Tony's temper because the drop of a dime pisses her off. You know what I'm saying? And when these guys are harassing them, she ends up fighting them. The girlfriend tells her to stop, just forget them, but then she ends up fighting, and which ends up getting the girlfriend hurt because she ends up getting smacked in the face by Tony by mistake. After this, the girlfriend's kind of just like, you know what, we just need to go our separate ways. Your attitude's just too much for me. Tony gets so mad, she takes a big boulder and smashes it through her ex-girlfriend's car window while the girlfriend is in the car. So yeah, she has a temper and it makes her a bad person. However, her redeemable quality is that she does help out and she does get along with the other girls. She doesn't get along with the one girl who's a homophobe and everything. But it's on the island, she's shown that she is a nice person, but then she has these anger issues. And this one girl tells her that, and she's all like, I can't be around you, you're gonna be acting like that. So she tells her, that when you get so stressed out like that, just take a run. So after that, she's really not mean no more, and she's really helpful with the group, and she helps this one girl who is the homophobe overcome that, because the homophobic girl is a closeted lesbian herself, or bisexual I should say. And so they start a relationship, and she kind of helps her be out free and open because the other girl's closeted, and she's all like, I'm not hiding and this and that, I'm not ashamed of who I am, and you shouldn't either. Speaking of such a person, Shelby is the closeted bisexual and the homophobe. She is super duper religious. Her family is super duper religious too. Turns out she has a tooth problem where she has 2 teeth missing in her front, so she wears fake teeth. Nobody knows that at the island because she keeps that secret until they find out. Um, and so she tells the parents, because she's only like 17, 16, she tells the parents, like, I want to have this dental surgery so they can put like fake teeth in my mouth and all this and that. And they tell her, well, you can't do that because you're not 18 yet, and the dentist told you have to wait till you're 18 because it's going to be the most excruciating pain of your life. So she's bummed out, but she still wants the surgery anyway, right? So anyways, in her flashbacks, she has like a best friend. And her best friend starts telling her that when she was 13, her brother, who was in college, she went out with him and stuff. And so her sister, and that's totally wrong because this dude was a 19-year-old in college and he's messing around with a 13-year-old girl. But she like was willing to do that. But still, that's wrong because it's underage. So they get him back for that. But so that's the first bad person in Shelby's life. But then Shelby and her best friend, they were kind of like looking at each other in a kind of like romantic way, and like they're about to do something, and the dad walks in. So they kind of like freak out. But the dad doesn't see them do nothing because they don't get a chance to do anything. But both girls do like each other. And so when the dad finds that out, he tells his wife, and they tell the other girl's parents. And it's all, for the parents they're talking. Next thing you know, he talks to Shelby, tell her, that's wrong, we don't do that. And she's all like, oh, I'm not like that. Those people are sick and everything like that, and they're disgusting, blah, blah, stuff like that. So she gets mad at her best friend because turns out the best friend told her parents so she wouldn't get in trouble that Shelby came on to her. I forget who came on to who first, but so that's what the best friend's parents told Shelby's parents. So Shelby got in trouble for that. So Shelby's pissed, and Shelby confronts her best friend, and she tells her, you're a sick, disgusting little person because of what you are, and I'm not like you, and blah, 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 blah. I like boys, and blah, blah, blah. She likes both. And so she breaks her best friend's heart so much that her best friend commits suicide as a result of that. And Shelby is heartbroken. And so, like, her dad tells her, what I think would be good for you if you do get your dental surgery. Now, hold up a second. The dental surgery is supposed to be the most excruciating pain that she will ever get as a teenager. But when she gets an adult, I guess, like, her nerves will kind of, like, be tougher or something like that. Her dad knows this, and that's why her dad didn't want to get her the surgery. But now because her dad finds out that she is... Now, Shelby is redeemable for the sake that, she is like, she's not allowed to be who she wants to be because of her controlling parents and stuff. She's also redeemable because she is like super sweet and nice with the whole religious thing to the girls on the island, and she helps out. And when Tony, a person who she offended because of homophobia, Tony was about to die from food poisoning, and with one of the last pills left, Shelby gives it to Tony, and she forces her to take it, and she makes sure that she's all better and stuff. Then, like I said before, she's slowly starting to like accept like who she is, so she's not like a bad person. It's just that she did a bad thing that resulted in an even worse thing, and she didn't know it was going to result in that, but she has so many redeemable qualities and stuff. Martha is like the last girl, and she's like the sweetest innocent person you'll like ever meet. Like seriously, it's like, she can do no wrong. But it turns out that somebody in her life, she does like I think it's gymnastics or dance or something like that, like Native American dance. And so this one guy who's like a doctor who does like therapy sessions and stuff with them. He's a grown man who messed around with a bunch of these little girls, like touching them in places they shouldn't be touched. And so when that got exposed, he had to go to court. Turns out he did that to Martha when she was younger, but she kept that hidden. Or not hidden, but like suppressed and everything. And her parents try to like keep that suppressed as well. But they told her, you need to tell. On the day of the court, she decides she's not going to tell. And she lets him get away with that. And so it's like, yeah, that's bad of her, but you can understand where she's coming from. Now, the doctor dude, he's just a complete monster because he is the man. And so it's like, why are men always shown to be like that? And so then it's like, since she's so sweet and nice, she has one huge redeemable quality. The girls need food. She has this pet goat that she found on the island. she decides to kill it. She's a vegetarian and she doesn't kill and she doesn't harm animals whatsoever because against her like coda and stuff. And so it's like she was wanting to do all of that just so the girls can live and survive. And then when she was doing that, she was having flashbacks to like what happened to her. So she was finally able to like somewhat redeem herself because she failed in court. She redeemed herself by like, taking out this goat and feeding everybody else and kind of like, she kind of like regained her like her strength, her womanhood or something like that. Now there is another girl who's on the island who was the first mole that ends up dying, so she's completely bad all on her own, just for like deceiving all the girls. She was a college student pretending to be a high school girl, but something that bad happened to her when she was in college when she got drugged and everything, and she woke up with a dude next to her, and so it's like her redeemable quality, even though she like totally set these girls up along with Gretchen, is that when she saw these girls lifeless on like the raft boat, sedated, ready to go to the island, it reminded her when she was in college. So she tried to like stop everything and run away. But then she slips, falls, hurt herself, and starts bleeding internally. But then she decides, oh, I'm just gonna continue doing it. Now she is technically bad and really like the only bad female along with Gretchen, but because of that, she tried to help the girls at the same time. It gives her a slight redeemable quality, which none of the men have. Now, there are 4 other adults in this show, 3 men and 1 woman. They all work for Gretchen, so they all know exactly what's going on this island because they set the girls up. Now, here's the thing. Here's the thing about them. Because they know what this whole thing is about, they're all bad. They set these girls up to live on an island by themselves. However, one of the guys who supposedly is an FBI agent, he has a redeemable quality where he tries to like tell the girls some information, Leah, like where they at, because he's not supposed to tell, but he does, and he ends up giving her food when he's not really supposed to. So he's trying to bond with her and be nice because he has kids, so he's starting to feel bad. However, he can feel bad all he wants because he's still setting these girls up. Then there's a psychiatrist dude. He's going along with this thing, so he's a monster. He has no redeemable qualities, and it's just kind of like, what are you doing, dude? It's like, you're terrible. Now, there's one of her assistant dudes that's mad. Gretchen has an assistant that's madly in love with her, and he'll do anything for her. When the mole girl asked him who's the second mole, because she doesn't know, because they want to keep that secret, he literally tells the mole girl that he'd rather die than betray Gretchen. And I'm just like, what the world? It's like this dude's so madly in love with Gretchen. He's willing to help her kidnap a bunch of girls, and then to not betray her, he'd rather kill himself. Not only is he a bad monstery type dude, but he's also super weak. Because the female assistant, even though she's going along with everything, there was a pilot that flew around the island, and when Gretchen found that out, she just paid him off, But the female assistant was the only one to have the balls to ask, did you have this dude murdered? And Gretchen's like, no. And like, why would you think that? And she's like, because, you have kidnapped all these girls. Okay, even though the female assistant is like bad, she still has the wherewithal to like question like the boss and everything and assume that the boss is the bad person. Whereas the male assistant is all madly in love with her. And so that is exactly why I fear for season 2. Because I bet you anything, they are going to show that the boys can't tough it out like the girls were able to. They're going to show the boys fighting for power. They're going to show the boys pretty much turning into like the Lord of the Flies. Because this show wants to show that like females are superior to men. And what's so weird that the creator of this show, she used to write for the Netflix Daredevil show. So it's like, I don't get it, And it's like, I'm not against feminism, because I'm not, because like I'm all for it. I'm all for the Me Too movement. I'm all for cancel culture because it's supposed to show people the consequences of what they done was wrong and teach current people in a new generation not to make them same mistakes. But my problem with a lot of this stuff is that they are shoving like agendas down people's throat, and instead of letting it flow naturally. Xena was a great show. I love Xena. And Xena was a feminist show. It showed strong women without putting down men. It had both male and female monster bad people, but some have redeemable qualities. Like Ares was the main bad dude, but even he has some redeemable qualities to him. And the Wilds just don't for some reason. Joxer was a dork and couldn't do nothing that well, but he still was extremely helpful in other ways. And it's like, I get it. You want to show that you are men's equal, but you have to show that you are truly their equal. Like when you see a lot of these shows, they are now starting to do like all female writers, all female directors, all female camera crew. And it's like, that's not showing that you're superior to men. You eliminated the competition. So you're not really showing that you're better than men. You're just showing that, oh, without the men, hey, we're showing that we're like great and everything. But how do we know you're truly great if you like, you don't compete against them, because eliminating the competition ain't nothing. And so it's like, that's exactly what the main thing that's coming into the wild, because it's like, one, I still want to see the girl's story, and two, I don't want every single last man to be either weak or a monster. Because none of the men in the wild have a redeemable quality, and all the females, even though they have flaws, they are able to redeem themselves some way or another. And it's just, what is this supposed to show? I get you have to teach the current generation and the new generation, but this is not teaching nobody nothing. This is literally saying men bad and women good. And what makes it worse is that these guys look somewhat similar, has similar qualities to the female cast. So if it's shown that the female cast can rise through any given situation, because they do, one killed the snake, the other one had to rescue another girl out the ocean because she went nuts in the head. There was a episode where they were all being food poisoned and they had to like help each other out with that. They had to like build tents. There was a huge storm. They had to look for food. They had to stop fighting. They had to find within themselves, stop fighting each other, because the girls do fight each other a lot in the beginning, but they all come together towards in the middle and the end. And with these dudes having similar qualities, looking like them, it's kind of like, if they're gonna show the dudes being like what the complete opposite of what the females were, to show that hey, look at this, we just showed you that men suck. Alrighty, well, I'll talk to y'all later. Bye.